Hello and welcome to the Hunter Call of the Wild beta test. Now, I know I'm a bit late to this, and I'll explain why. Basically, I was not fortunate enough to get my name drawn in the email raffle to get a key, but one of the awesome viewers of the channel actually sent me one, and I feel bad because I didn't ask if I could use their name in the video, so I probably shouldn't. But you know who you are, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I believe I just heard footsteps. I do. So yeah, my original plan was to kind of like just do a playthrough of kind of how everything worked. But then I got to thinking, you guys have probably seen that already. By the time this comes out, you probably will have seen kind of how the game begins and all that. So I thought we'd look more at mechanics and like things that are different from the Hunter Classic and that sort of thing. First off is that when an animal calls, it kind of shows you on the screen where it's at if you can like spin around and find it, and then it's like pressing E instead of clicking to identify stuff, which is a bit different. All the controls are like slightly different, and I think they are more intuitive, but because of playing the Hunter Classic so long for myself, I can't seem to get the controls down perfectly. I thought I just saw something. So I don't really know whether to continue on or not because we had that roe deer. I've not successfully called in a roe deer yet because I haven't played much. But that leaf icon ahead is a feeding zone, and that's something that's very different from the Hunter Classic. The fact that there are zones where animals go to feed, and that's what I wanted to look at first to see if there's going to be any animals over there, because that's really cool to have the feeding zones, and I think maybe they can be abused more or less like spawn matching. Okay, so 61 meters that way there's a roe deer. I don't really want to shoot it though because I want to check out the feeding area, so there's a roe deer right there. See, there's bows as well, and I do have one, but there doesn't seem to be sights on it, so I don't really know how to aim it. Sounds like there's more than one roe deer there. If there's a buck, we'll shoot it. If not, we're going to go over to the feeding zone. I think it is by itself, actually. Alright, we're going to sneak over to the feeding zone. So, another really cool thing is that brush actually has an impact on the game. You want to try not to walk through brush. Now that would imply that there's another one, I think. I don't know, I can't see. But yeah, brush actually makes noise, so if you walk through brush, the animals will hear you and probably spook. So you got to be careful about where you're walking. I think you can kind of use the brush to your advantage to hide in as well, which is quite useful. You know what? These roe deer are pretty much in the feeding zone. I didn't realize that. Alright, we need to stay still for a moment. See if it'll walk out in front of us. Not yet. Just gonna sneak out. I saw it. Can't seem to get my sights on it. Oh, there's one. Let's try calling. So for those of you that don't really know, this beta test is set in like Central Europe. This specific reserve is called Hirschfelden, or I think Hirschfelden as it was pronounced earlier in the game. I don't know if that's like a accent sort of thing, or if that's the actual pronunciation. It's kind of hard to say considering it is European. I wouldn't know. So I do want to know if this roe deer is actually going to come into my call. I hear one behind us as well. One thing you can't do is actually go prone, at least currently. so you can't just lay down. Is that a buck? I think it is. The other thing, the scope kind of has like a lock on when you hold your breath, which is weird. I kind of wish you could turn that off. Warning call, I didn't even hear that. Actually, it might be, could be aim toggle. Let me try that. If we turn that off, you have to now hold down. Nah, there's still like a lock-on kind of aim that I'm not really so much a fan of, but hopefully when the game's completely done there'll be an option to like turn that off, because it kind of throws me off every time I go to aim. Especially if there's more than one animal in the area. It'll like put me closer to one animal that I'm not trying to aim for, then I have to find the one that I'm actually trying to shoot again. So that's not such a good thing in my opinion, but I do like the like interaction with your surroundings and stuff a lot more. Okay, there's a buck. Oh, there's two actually. One's like bedded down. We may need another shot. Of course, that wasn't loaded. Check the blood. Oh, actually, we killed it, didn't we? I thought it ran. So I do like the fact that you can kind of see around the scope, because it's kind of similar to having one eye open, where you can see to get your scope on the animal better. But it seems kind of fake. I don't know what really it is that would need change, but something seems a little bit off. Maybe you guys would be better at identifying what that is. So here's our roe deer. I think it's the first buck I've actually killed. So you can see there's like a new harvest screen. And it shows where the bullet came from, although that appears to be backwards because I shot from behind it. But that's, again, this is beta, so maybe that's still something that can happen, but we'll check out if we hit that other roe deer, and then we'll look at some other game mechanics. Alright, so we're down here to see if we can find that other roe deer buck that's spooked, and if not, what we're going to do next is go to one of the other areas on the map. There's a couple of little hunting towers, and I think there's a blind. Ooh. I think that's where our roe deer is. So we're going to go over to that field and try that out. I think there's more fallow deer over there, so we can see how hunting there goes, and take a look at how the hunting out of a blind or a tower works. I don't think we're going to get close to this roe deer. We're down in the brush. Unless we can just get eyes on it. Oh, there it is. Maybe we can. I don't see any running. We might have got it. The rolling animation's a bit weird. Kind of like... Oh, he didn't do it that time. Maybe that was just a fluke when I saw it last time. The clip kind of like flew up in front of his hand, but that time it worked perfectly. And we did take down our roe deer. And that time the bullet path makes more sense. So it shows the difficulty on the left. So this was a medium, so he's a pretty small buck. I didn't pay attention to the last one. But that's kind of like the way you determine trophies, and there is like a score, but I don't know how that's based yet. But anyway, we'll go check out over here by these fields, the towers or blinds, whatever we come to first. Alright, so we've stopped off at the Outpost quickly first, just to show you how all this works. So there's like a storage area here, which is also the store. So you can buy rifles, handguns, shotguns, and bows. I have the bow, but as I said, the sight seems to be weird, and there's like compatible item types. One depicts a scope and one depicts a bullet, so I assume that's ammo and sights, but I can't buy bow sights. There's shotgun, handgun, and rifle sights. So I'm not really sure about that, and currently I only have $8,000 after buying the bow, so I can't afford anything new, but we'll continue using our 243 Ranger for now. There's also over here like a I don't know what to call it, like almost a newsstand, but I can't seem to click on it. I think they said there's going to be like missions or whatever associated with this, and that might be because I can't complete that other mission, but just for whatever reason, it's just to take a picture of a fallow deer, but every time I try it, it just doesn't work. And then also there is the flagpole here, and when you get to this and you press E, you can officially fast travel to the outpost, and then you can rest here in the outpost, and we're just going to do that quickly. We'll rest till afternoon, I guess. Go in the middle. And rest. So now it's afternoon. I don't really know if that affects spawning or anything, but that is something that can happen. And we will continue over to the field area, see if we can kill some animals maybe out of one of those concealment towers. Alright, we've got another roe deer out here at the end of this field. See if we can take her down. Down she goes. One thing I noticed with the binoculars that I hadn't noticed prior is they have like a focus. So I don't know if it'll work here or not. You can see the background is focused. Let's try it on somewhere where it's a little further. So if I focus on the field, then I come up here, that backfield's going to like fade out and blur out basically, which is really cool, because that's kind of how you can use binoculars in real life. If you turn like the adjustment knob, you can focus on what's far away or focus on what's closer. So that is like a really cool realistic aspect of this game that I kind of would love to see in the Hunter Classic. But yeah, cool to see here. So double lung shot there. Very nice. I've not left whatever region of the map I'm on, but I'm going to see if I'm even able to do that. So we're going to keep heading this way and see if we can leave this region of the map. Maybe we can find new game or something else. Oh, that's a fallow deer actually. I thought that was another roe deer. Maybe we'll check that out first. Alright, there's the fallow deer. Looks like a small male. And we got it. Better reload the rifle again. Alright. 3 roe deer and a fallow deer, I think. Thus far, not too bad. Pick this guy up. This is like really loud stuff to walk on. But we already killed the deer, so it doesn't really matter. So this was a hard difficulty, so I'd say this guy's a decent one. And we had a right lung liver. Another thing that's cool is being able to earn money as you harvest animals, and that's the way that you progress your way through the game, by harvesting animals and then purchasing new equipment. So it's an entirely different like model than the Hunter Classic. And I think it kind of caters a little more towards like less simulator, just a bit because of like the fact that it kind of tells you where like calls and stuff come from a little more directly, like warning calls and stuff. Oh, there's a okay, I see a fallow deer though. I was gonna say there's a hunting tower down there, but we're not gonna get to that without spooking the deer. Looks like a male. There's a roe deer down there as well. The fallow deer look like a decent one, but we're in a bunch of brush that we're gonna make noise in. So I'm gonna try to get around to the right of these rocks. I think you can kind of use them to hide. So that'd be another important aspect of trying to get in close to animals, especially when either I find a bow site or it's like unlocked or whatever, because I still don't understand what's going on there. But yeah, when you're spotting and stalking with a bow, obviously being able to hide behind different parts of the landscape is quite important. And I know I'm walking through a bit of brush, but I'm kind of testing the limits of the animal's senses by doing that and trying to find out, you know, how much you can get away with. Alright, so no luck back at the tower. Nothing ever showed up. But we are getting awfully close to the border by the pink broken line. We should be getting about ready to cross over into a new area. I don't know if that's actually possible, if the beta is limited to this area, or if you have to complete missions first, or anything like that. I have no clue. But hopefully we can find out in just a moment by attempting to cross. Haven't seen any animals, as a red fox warns, but I'm not even really going to concern myself with that. They're quite small and hard to see. And we are almost to the border, and there isn't any real visible sign of that on the map, at least that I can notice. So the question now is, are we allowed to cross? Yes, I hear you up there. So it seems like when you get a second warning call, it tells you how far the warning call is, which is incredibly helpful, but I guess that is kind of pinpointing the animal's exact location as well. Which, I mean, I guess in the Hunter Classic, there is the ping that tells you right where the animal's at, but the warning calls and stuff, it's just a matter of trying to hear where it's at. Ah, so we can cross. So now we can attempt to go to the Outpost here, which I don't think that's specifically labeled, but there's a couple of lookout towers and stuff, so we'll test out the area, see what we can find. There was a fallow deer that had a warning call up here. We'll see if we can get it in the process of moving up through here. Alright, so we've run into some fields here in this new area, and I want to see if we can see any deer. I thought I just heard a warning call, but I wasn't paying much attention, so I didn't ID anything. So we'll see if there are any. We top this rise in the middle of the field. We'll have the high ground. Is the rifle loaded before we go any further? It is. I've done that enough times so far since my bit of playing to understand the game before recording anything. There's a fallow male. He looks different. He's got like a dark back. Down he goes. Oh, there's another one. I lost sight of it. Just saw it for a split second, but yeah, it's a tree that I'm looking at now. Anyway. So yeah, the fields seem to be quite helpful. There's another deer. I just saw it. Oh, it's up there. That's a sign. not a deer. So yeah, the fields are quite helpful. It seems like the animals tend to be around them fairly often. I don't know if it's a feeding thing or if they just happen to be there every time I'm there. What happened? I don't know why everything turned black there for a second. So we had a left lung heart shot on this one. It was a hard difficulty. Not too bad. So, still don't really know where the outpost is here. Probably up somewhere closer to the middle. Actually, maybe along the road. We'll do some running around and see what we can find. Alright, we've got a fallow deer male down here, and he looks a little different than the others we've killed. He's kind of like lighter. So if he'll turn for us. Or, there we go. And that took him down. Alright, so I think that's going to be the last kill of this video. We've gotten a good look at the game so far. I got to look at a lot of the mechanics, how a lot of stuff works, and my overall first impressions are pretty good. I had to run the game on a little lower settings, unfortunately, because this does take a pretty powerful PC to run on max settings, so I'm not really going to judge the game for artistic value very much, because I can't really run it on max graphics or anything, so yeah, I don't really know how good that is, but I mean, it does look even pretty good with the lower graphics, as you can see, especially up close. But yeah, I like the game so far. I definitely want to see more of the reserves and everything, and I'll probably be back with one more video, maybe even two, going further into the game and exploring more and trying to find out as much as we can before the beta test ends. So yeah, we'll pick up this fallow deer. Had a left lung liver shot, and that is going to wrap up this video. So let me know what you guys think in the comments if you've gotten to beta test it, or if you've watched some videos, what you think about the game, what your first impressions are, and maybe if you're planning on getting it when it's released in the spring. And again, thank you to you, that I don't want to use your name, for giving me the opportunity to beta test this game. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to continue doing that. So with that, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.